This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weights. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
The Jason Walker Show, broadcasting from the Major Mortgage Man Cave. Here's Jason Walker.
Yo, happy Friday, the Jason Walker Show. We are presented by Capital Collision Center. Montana state law says it is your vehicle. It is your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center. Inside the Major Mortgage Man Cave, we'll wrap up the week with conversations with Steve Keller, the Providence men's basketball coach. Argos will host Northern tomorrow in the semifinals of the Frontier Conference playoffs. We'll talk about that and that series. We're also going to chat with Jo Berg, formerly Lori Jo Neubauer, about an incident at Rocky Mountain College 15 years ago that speaks eerily similar of what happened in this month, basically, the last 25 days. You can watch live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You can chat with us on Podbean, Network One Sports, TreasureStateRadio.com. That's where you can listen, at JWalker Sports on the Twitter, and Jason at JasonWalkerShow.com. All right. All in this day in history coming up, and a whole lot more, too. Let's start with what we're going to be doing next week. We'll be in Great Falls, so we'll do a show Monday, and then off Tuesdays, we get up to Great Falls and get set up, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, hopefully, if things go well, we'll be broadcasting the show in the Major Mortgage Man Cave on the road, which will be kind of cool for the first time. So that'll be fun. All right, so if you're ready for this story to end, it's getting closer and closer. Rocky Mountain College. We know about Wes Keller. We know about the six girls. And we know about reinstatements and not. And then as soon as we got off the air, we called it yesterday. As soon as we got off the air, the press release came out. The six girls were reinstated. The six girls that sat out in support of Wes Keller were reinstated. And it just took a little bit longer than it should have. Statement from Bob Wilmoth, the president of Rocky, yesterday said, quote, and I'll read it, it's in entirety. Said, quote, I had an opportunity to meet yesterday with six players from our women's basketball team that sat out of team activities in support of Coach Wes Keller, along with their parents. They're a wonderful, wonderful group of students, and I am proud of their passion and ability to articulate their position. We had a productive conversation and were able to discuss their concerns and hopefully clarify any misunderstandings. Through this conversation, along with Coach Keller and our athletics administration, we've identified a path to bring the team back together, allow them to heal, and ultimately find success. As a president of the institution, I am insisting that an emphasis is placed on improving communication between students, coaches, and administration. I'd like to reiterate that the Rocky Mountain College administration and I, as president, fully stands behind Coach Keller. As was formally reported, concerns against Coach Keller were brought to our attention regarding his coaching style. It is if the responsibility of Rocky Mountain College to thoroughly assess any credible concerns regarding student well-being. While those concerns were evaluated out of an abundance of caution, Coach Keller was placed on paid administrative leave. Coach Keller received no disciplinary action as a result of those concerns during or after his administrative leave. After concluding a comprehensive review of the women's basketball program, Coach Keller resumed his duties with the full support of Rocky Mountain College administration. There was more to it. Basically, so this is, I mean, we knew these girls were going to be reinstated Wednesday night, but I was told to wait till yesterday to talk about it, and I couldn't because I had to wait. Now we can't. It's great. The girls are back. All 6 girls. Now, what do they do? Where do they go? It's going to be an interesting off season, and that'll run until probably May because of semester and everything and waiting. So we'll see. But it's a great thing that these girls are back. It should have never gotten this far. And if you've been following the story, you know how I feel. We supported Wes Keller the entire time, and we supported the 6 girls that sat out. President Wilmoth has yet to return a call to the Jason Walker Show. We reached out multiple times via call and email. Brad Nason, Dean of Student Affairs, has yet to respond at all as well. So we told you on Tuesday that there was going to be that meeting Wednesday, and we said, look, the administration's finally realizing that it screwed up. It bungled it from day one. I mean, we all know that. But good on them for getting the girls back into school or into the team. Now, Rocky season is over. It ended last night at Western, an 82-41 blowout. So I think those girls that complained and some of the girls that didn't support the 6 girls that sat out and some others, see, there's strife. There's strife in the team itself. Izzy Spruitt, the lone senior, came on the show the other day and said that, look, nobody trusts each other in the locker room. Now, the 6 girls were told that they could ride the bus and sit on the team bench last night at the playoff game. But they, with 2 of the girls out of town, one back in Arizona and one, I think, in New Mexico, the other 4 said, yeah, we're not going without the other 2. It's stand of solidarity. So no hard feelings. They just didn't go. But everybody watched an 82-41 blowout, and those JV girls realized, oh, crap, we're not as good as we thought we were without these other ones. So it's good. It's good for everybody involved. There's a resolution. Now, is there a public apology yet? Nope. President Wilmoth basically accepted all the responsibility, as he should, but I'm finding out and hearing from sources, or am I reporting from sources, Alec? I don't remember. Is it hearing, reporting, 2 different things? If you missed that conversation, go back on the Jason Walker Show to Wednesday. Anyway, sources are telling me that there's some problem between. It starts at the top. Wilmoth didn't know everything going on, and a lot of this was done with Brad Nason and Jeff Malby, the athletics director. Now, I love Coach Malby, now Administrator Malby, but it sounds like this was done between a couple of dudes in between the president and the coaching staff and the players. Now, is there issues between the coaching staff? Yes. It's going to be an interesting couple months. We'll not talk about it every day, but who stays, who goes, not only in administration, but also on coaching staff and also in players is going to be fun to watch over the next couple of weeks. Now, you'll see girls leave. You'll see girls enter the transfer portal. And I'm not saying, I don't even know who yet. But it would be nice for President Wilmoth to issue a public apology to these girls. He said he was sorry, I'm told, in the meeting with the girls and the parents. Now, the parents wanted a public apology because the school, Rocky Mountain College, made these kids look terrible. So there needs to be a public apology from Rocky Mountain College. Will they get it? No. Unfortunately not. They won't. But, hey, at least they'll have a chance to be back on the team. And that's really what matters the most, correct? Yes. Jason Walker Show is brought to you by Capital Collision Center. Montana state law says it is your vehicle, it is your choice. Where you have it repaired, choose Capital Collision Center. One final thought before I move on. Jordan Hansen, who we've had on the show multiple times from the Missoulian, formerly 406mtsports.com, but he left sports to become a news guy. Come on, Jordy, what are you doing? There's news in sports. Anyway, he loves news too, and we wish him the best. But he tweeted out yesterday the incident at Rocky with the women's basketball team just basically reinforces that private institutions in Montana don't have to accept accountability or responsibility. You look at Rocky. Jordy brought up Loyola volleyball. I think it was last year when the coach resigned, quit just before the state playoffs. No answer from Loyola still. And you look at Rocky, you look at Loyola, you look at Carroll College. Carroll College, and we'll talk about this moving forward because they still have their lawsuit against them about wrongful termination and Title IX discrimination. And they're going to lose. I'm told, well, I'm not even told. I know this for a fact. There was lies told in depositions. And heads are going to roll at Carroll. My guess is at the end of the summer, some point this year in 2021, heads will roll at Carroll College. And rightfully so. But again, a private institution doesn't have to, accept responsibility publicly. Will they get ripped through for it? Yep, 100%. And you can bet Jason Walker Show is going to follow that Carroll story and the Rocky story moving forward. But that's just my final thoughts on that for the week. All right, we'll talk to Lori Jo Neubauer coming up, former state champ at Wolf Point, who along with her sister at Rocky played for Rocky, at least until her sister got booted off the team for no explanation. And we'll find out about that story. That was 15 years ago. And Brad Nason, who's there now, was there then. Not say anything, just you be the judge. And we'll also talk to Steve Keller when we come back. By the way, if you are looking for bait, and this is a free, they don't even sponsor the show. And I can't believe he doesn't sponsor the show. He's my damn uncle. Excite Baits, wearing the hat, based out of Texas. But if you need, rubberized bait, is that what it's called? You'd think I'd know better. If you're heading down south to fish, this is the best bait, Excite Baits. Bass, probably other fish, but that's where the hat comes from. Excite Baits. Check it out on the Facebook, or do you even have a website? I don't even know if he has a website. I'm sure he does. Just Google Excite Baits with an X. I'm excited about talking bass fishing baits. But does it work for other fish, Lloyd? Only bass? I think you could catch walleye and pike with it here. I bet you. It's awesome bait. Anyway, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Excite Baits. Go Google it. Yes. Oh, yes. What's my answer? Was it bass only? Is that the okay? He's responding on Facebook. You could just text or call. We'll give you a free promo on the show here. But we don't really want to hear from him on the air. All right, so there you go. Excite Baits, free promo for the uncle. If you're going down south to fish. Okay. We'll take a break when we come back. We're going to talk Frontier Conference basketball, but on the positive side of things. Semifinals coming up tomorrow night. They had the quarters last night, and it went kind of as expected. And we'll talk to Providence coach Steve Keller when we come back here on the Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show. Major Mortgage Man Cave. If you are looking to refinance or buy a home, give J.R. McFadden a call. Major Mortgage, Helena. But, I mean, he works everywhere, so he'll get you settled. He'll get you fixed up. Still to come, we'll talk to Lori Jo Neubauer about an incident at Rocky involving her sister and another player who were unceremoniously kicked off the team with no explanation 15 years ago. And on this day in history, I'll tell you what's coming up for the weekend, too. Personally, it's going to be fun. My uncle, by the way, texted and said, Excite Baits, the hat I'm wearing, will catch everything. Anywhere. You could take it to out in the Gulf of Mexico and haul in whatever they fish for in the Gulf of Mexico. But mostly bass. So if you're into bass fishing, and we have bass here in Montana, so that should work. Go to Excite Baits. Find it on the Google. All right. So last night they had the quarterfinals of the Frontier Conference men's and women Frontier tournament. And the Northern men knocked off Western by a score of something to something, as not reported in the score, so that's awesome. But Northern men won. The Western women won. Tech men took down Rocky men. And a disappointing season for Bill Drykosen comes to an end. One win on the year. But 82-66 was the final at Tech, as the Tech men knocked out Rocky. And then what was the other game? There was another one. And I know it because it's in my head. But, so the Carroll men will host Tech, and then Providence men will host Northern. Okay, so that's set. That's 1 through 4. And then on the women's side tomorrow night in the semifinals, you will have the Carroll women hosting someone. Providence women will host the Western women, so that means the Carroll women will host the team they play. Oh my goodness. Northern women. So Northern men will be at Providence. Northern women will be at Carroll. Western women will be at Providence, and the Tech men will be at Carroll tomorrow night in the semifinals. All right. Are we good? Do we have that all figured out? I think so. All right. Well, the coach of one of those teams is Steve Keller. He coaches the Providence men, and we had a great conversation earlier today on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline as we talk about that matchup and some other things about the season. Not what you'd expect, but about the season. COVID, players, how do they beat Northern? Find out right now. Steve Keller joins us. Jason Walker Show. Well, it's a team, coach, that you waited to find out who you were going to play, and you get Northern, and we'll talk about that in a second. But take me through the overall season. We haven't talked about your season so far, 15-2. It's been an up and down year because of COVID and because of whatnot, and you look at your schedule, and it's like, did you guys play a game on the road yet? But you had like 8 in a row at home, it seemed. But this has been just a crazy, crazy year. How have you handled it and the team?
Well, I think they've handled it extremely well. We haven't had very many cases. We've had 3 or 4, but we never got on campus till like December 7th. We were all out the first semester. We were not allowed to work with them, and so they had to work out on their own. And then we got them on campus the 7th and got them tested, and our first practice was December 10th. So, we were behind everybody. Most everybody else started October 1st. So, but I figured we're pretty simple on offense and what we do, and I figured that if anybody could survive this, we probably could. Our first games were at Montana Tech, and we won 2 close games there, and then the head coach somehow gets it, and he was scared to death, because of his heart disease, and have no idea how I got it. I wore my mask. I hardly ever left the house, and end up getting this, and that was my fear. So that shut us down for 3 road games, and that's kind of why we were at home for like 8 or 9 in a row, because we got shut down those three road games. So all my assistants we've all had it, and few players have had it, and we had some guys out, starters out. 2 different times we had 2 starters out. So what's amazing is how everybody says next man up, I guess, and that's what it was for us. And we have some depth, and we survived it.
Steve Keller joining us, Providence men's basketball coach, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. One of those losses you did have to Northern, and it was Darko Kelly out. You had Hashley out, and like you said, 2 starters. And Northern is still a really good basketball team, so that didn't help having 2 starters out. You beat them the next night, but this will be a great matchup on Saturday night.
Well, Northern's so tough. They're so tough defensively. And what makes them really tough is their patience on offense. They work that ball, and I don't know how many times they score in the last, 5 seconds of the shot clock, where our guys can't even wait 5 seconds before they put up a shot in most cases. But they're so disciplined on offense, and they're disciplined on defense. And Coach Hughes does a heck of a job with that group. And they got some size, and they got some players. They're a tough. Every night you play them, you gotta be at your best to beat them.
And it's always been a great rivalry with you guys, not only the teams but the head coaches, and it's going to be a fun one Saturday night, like I said. But when you look at this season and the Frontier Conference, was that kind of how you expected it to play out because of COVID and because of everything?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I thought we had a chance to win the league, but if you'd have told me 15-2, I would have said you're crazy, because not very often in our league I mean, we were very fortunate. We beat Montana Tech 4 times, and I just think they're as good as they could beat anybody in the country, in my opinion. And we ended up beating Carroll 3 out of 4, which, you know, that's another amazing feat. You know, you know how good Carroll is, and they got a lot of size and athleticism. And they're well coached, and so yeah, we got 7 wins against those 2 schools. So yeah, that wasn't how I had planned out. I was hoping, and especially, you know, we had to go play Tech right out of the chute without any games, and you know, we're just hoping that we could get a split. We haven't had this back-to-back stuff, but you know, I had and Mark Durham was one I talked about because they played the back-to-back and coached the back-to-back, and so I talked to him at length about, you know, some ideas about that second game, and so I felt like we survived the back-to-backs pretty well.
Yeah, well, 15-2, you definitely did. Steve Keller joining us, the Argos coach, and he's been there a few years. When you look at you mentioned Tech. I mean, this is a team on the rise with Coach Hyatt, and they have been for a couple of years. Once he got his guys in there, you know, they beat Carroll right out of the chute, like you mentioned. You had to play Tech too, but this is a very good basketball team, and I know you're not playing them yet, but because they'll be at Carroll on Saturday. But this is a great, strong league. Is it surprising, Coach, that there's just Providence ranked in the top 25 because of I guess it's harder now with 100 and extra, 100 plus extra teams now with the combination.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, the top, and I'm a Raider, and you know, I've been talking Carroll, you know, all year long. And this last Raiders call, you know, they've won 11 out of 12. Everybody knows how they did a couple years ago at the national tournament. So, but they're not using the top 25 poll as much as they used to. That's just kind of the NAI thing for the NAI to put out. And Carroll got in there at 26. I was hoping they'd be in the top 25. But there's just, you know, we went from rating 9 leagues to 21 leagues. So now there's 21 Raiders, you know, and most of those Raiders have Frontier Conference doesn't get a lot of love nationally very often. And now we even got more Raiders that probably don't even know anything about Providence, Carroll College, Montana Tech, and things like that. So not alarmed. Do we deserve to have 2 teams in the top 25? Absolutely. Carroll could be in the top 20. But now with 21 Raiders, it makes it a little tougher. So it is what it is. We just have to go prove that, you know, we have a good league and we can beat anybody anywhere.
Yeah. And you guys have proven that over the years, definitely not this year with the COVID and the scheduling. But Steve Keller joining us. All right. You mentioned the top 25. You mentioned the rating and how that is all done. One thing I wanted to ask a coach this year and the college side, because I've asked high school coaches this, are you happy that there's not any fans in the stands because of coaching and or is it better to have fans? I mean, it's obviously better to have fans there, but as a coach, does it matter if there's fans in the stands or not?
Well, obviously we'd love to have fans in the stands, you know, but I'm telling you, once that game starts, as a coach, you don't even think about it or notice it, or you know. And then you got the mask. In fact, I wish they'd invented these masks a long time ago. I would have been wearing that thing a long time ago. That really helps me. They can't see my facial expressions. The refs can't hear me as much. They can hear a lot more, you know, because there's no fans. But I'm just so happy that our guys got to play, that if we had to sacrifice fans, you know, so players can play, then, you know, so be it. The thing that was tough was, you know, Darko Kelly, we had a senior night and his mom, you know, didn't get to come in. So, but I think lots of places had that same experience. So once the game goes, players play, coaches coach. and really don't pay attention to who's in the stands.
Are you telling me that you don't hear any outside interference during a game? Unless it's from a visiting radio guy sometimes?
Well, yeah, I don't. I'm locked in. I know there's 10 players and 3 guys in striped shirts that gather my attention. So.
Well, nowadays they do, yeah, because it's I just had to bring that up. Coach Keller joining us here on the Jason Walker Show. All right, back to Northern tomorrow night. It's a big game. How do you approach this? Because you've been in these games so many times. But what do you tell the guys? And they're experienced in these games too. So is it just focus on ourselves and go out and play some ball?
Pretty much. That's what we've always done. You know, I worry more about what we do than what the other team does. And Northern hasn't changed a lot all year long, you know. And like I said, they're so disciplined in what they do. And so we know each other very well. And, you know, at the end of the day, the players got to make plays. And what I feel like we've added to our team, you know, obviously we have Darko Kelly, who is the best in the league, hopefully, or one of the best. And now we got 3 or 4 other guys that can also make plays. So got to be able to make plays to end the shot clock in the game, and we've had a few of those.
When you look at Northern, specifically Maceo McCadney, I mean, David Harris, these are guys that have been there. They know you, you know them. There's no secrets between the players on the floor either. I mean, they all know each other so well. This is a very, like you said, it's a well-coached team. It's a great team, but McCadney seemed to have stepped it up another level this year over the past couple of years.
Oh yeah. And he's been a handful every year that he's played against us. And, you know, and then Harry, those two had 26 the night, each that the night they beat us, they couldn't miss a shot. And, so we in pregame we talk about, you know, we look at their averages and let me call it up here real quick of what they are averaging. Come on.
I just had it up too.
Yeah, so they're 17 and 15. So what I try to do is 32. That's what they score, 32 a game. And I tell our guys, well, let's hold them to 22. Or so we talk about that. Let's hold them below their average. And some of my guys think, though, if they outscore their man, they've done a great job on defense. So
well,
that doesn't always.
No, that doesn't always work out. But yeah, I've never heard that before. That's interesting. And I mean, you coaches have a way of doing certain things and saying certain things, but that's interesting is, okay, these two guys average 30. If we hold them to 20, then that's a win. I like that. I've never heard that before.
Well, yeah. And then,
that's why you're a Hall of Fame coach.
I don't know about that. But they got 52 on us, you know, so the next game, you know, we write 52 up there. And I said, that's ridiculous that they could score 52 points like that. And that's why you lost. So I think the next day we held them under 30. So, yeah, you just got to, with this back-to-back, the team that loses the first night usually makes more adjustments than the team that wins. But I've tried to both ways, just try to figure out what adjustments they're going to make. And then sometimes we make the adjustments as simple as Fowler may have guarded Harris, and then we'll put Fowler on McCadney and somebody else on Harris. So sometimes just a little adjustment like that makes a difference.
Steve Keller joining us, Jason Walker Show. All right, I have to ask this. Northern at Providence Saturday night. It'll be a great game following the women as well. So back-to-back with the girls. But let me ask you this. You do get to go to LC once this year, it appears, because that'll be where the regionals are. Did you not miss that trip at all this year, though?
I don't want to go to LC.
Well, you have to probably.
And we don't. If the winner of our tournament goes to Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, is that how it's done? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And whoever, especially if it's us and Carroll. If it's us and Carroll, I mean, we're probably both in they're called pods. There's 3-team pods. So LC has 2 3-team pods. And our number 2 will go there. and have to win 2 games, our number 1 will go to Omaha, Nebraska, and we'll have to win 1 game.
Okay.
So I would say there's a dogfight, try to get that number 1 seed. Not that I want to go to Omaha, Nebraska, but if you go to LC, you're going to have LC's going to be in one pod, and Arizona Christian, who's 22-2, is going to be in the other pod, and Vanguard's going to be in one of those pods, and William Jessup's going to be in one of those pods.
That's a loaded regional.
That's a loaded regional.
Oh, man.
That's for sure.
So definitely go to Nebraska. That's the key.
Yeah, we don't even know where that is or how we're going to get there, but that's what we're shooting for. That's why you got home court advantage.
That'll be really nice not to have to go to LC. So is that the same for the women then too? Do you know that?
I don't.
Okay.
The women's a little bit, but I'm pretty sure because there's 2 number 1. There's 2 number 1 seeds at LC. There's number 1 in the GSAC and number 1 in the Cascade. So LC's going to be number 1 in the Cascade because they won that league. Right. So they're not going to put. So yeah, I would say the number 1 in the women is probably going to
it's Peru
Omaha
State,
as well because yeah.
Well, cool.
But I haven't seen anything. I've seen it on our side. I haven't seen anything on the women's side. But I assume that it'll be the same. So, the only difference is, the women's league is considered a better league than the men's league in the Frontier, a higher rated league. And so these pods are kind of based on how tough the teams are in each of the leagues as well. So they could go to Wichita, Kansas, or there's a couple places in Kansas too. So
no, it'll be fun to watch. And then so the women's championship is Monday. The men will play Tuesday in the Frontier, but you got to get through Saturday night first, and it's not guaranteed that anybody gets a win on Saturday night. That's why you play the games.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not overlooking anybody, and we don't even talk about championship. Well, all we know is if we take care of business, we get a host, and they haven't done that here in a long time. So we're happy about that. Our program's on the rise. Obviously, Darko Kelly's a big part of that. But, yeah, I like where we're going, and it's been a good place.
All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate it. We'll probably try to chat next week once we find out all the pods and rankings and all that and figure out where everybody's going in the Frontier for, well, at least you guys and Carol probably. But we'll figure it out. Good luck tomorrow night. Thanks for joining us, and I'm sure we'll be chatting very soon.
All right. Thanks, Jason. Doing a great job with this show. Everybody likes it, so keep it rolling.
Appreciate it. That is Steve Keller joining us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. And it's always nice to get those compliments, and we'll talk more about that in a second. But big games tomorrow in the Frontier. And unbelievable. Just really good basketball games tomorrow. 4 great ones. The Carroll men and women at home hosting the women hosting Northern, the men hosting Tech, and then you get the Providence men and women at home, and the men hosting Northern and the women hosting Western. So fun stuff. Frontier. Love covering it. I mentioned the Coach Keller there talking about the show. We've received a bunch of emails and texts over the last couple of days thanking us here at the Jason Walker Show for exposing what's going on at Rocky. Look, we just wanted the girls to be treated fairly and justly and have a voice. They supported their coach, as did we. We supported the girls. But thank you for all the nice words. But really, it's about the girls and Coach Keller, and there you go. All right, Wes Keller. I mean, we support Steve Keller, too, the last few years. Love the Frontier. Speaking of Frontier, there's Frontier hockey in the NA3HL. And I know we don't talk about it a lot, but there's some really good. So the Sheridan Hawks have already clinched a playoff spot for the Frontier division. 29-1, 58 points. Sheridan's won 28 straight. Yeah, 28 straight. You got Great Falls in second place, 42 points. They're 16 points behind first. The Missoula Junior Bruins at 40, Gillette 38 points. They're in fourth. And then you've got Helena, Bozeman, Yellowstone, and Butte in the bottom four. Helena's playing a lot better than it did a year ago. So, but Sheridan running away with the division. Man, oh man. There's big games tonight in the Frontier Division of the NA3HL. You've got Helena at Butte. You have tonight, Yellowstone is at Gillette. Great Falls is at Missoula. Sheridan's at Bozeman. I think that's all of them. So, well, they're getting closer to the playoffs. We'll throw a little bit more love their way. All right, quick break coming up. And when we return, so we've talked a lot about Rocky women's basketball, obviously. But when we return, there was another incident 15 years ago. And the sister of one of those players affected, because she was affected as well. Lori Jo Neubauer, now Lori Jo Berg, but she joins us next here on the Jason Walker Show. This segment brought to you by Rucker's Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918. Or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Welcome back, Jason Walker Show, final segment on a Friday. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, that's a picture from Sean Reddig. Tweeted out that when you absolutely have to see the Northern Sea basketball tournament, hashtag business trip. That's taking the hay for a little detour to watch some Northern Sea basketball up at Expo Park in Great Falls. That is why right there, Northern, or just not even Northern, but all of Class C basketball is my favorite. Right there, because of the support. Hashtag business trip. Love that, Sean. That is great. Oh, man. Good stuff. Jason Walker Show, presented in part by Auto Concepts. And Auto Concepts is your place to go. You got spring just around the corner. Got to get your lift kit. How about getting your windows tinted? How about just getting your car detailed? Right? Yeah. Oh, hey, that just ended abruptly, awesomely. But get your windows tinted, get your car detailed, go to Auto Concepts. It is the auto enhancement professionals here in Helena, and they will take care of you. Go see Sherry and Todd and the gang. Fantastic, fantastic supporter of the Jason Walker Show. All right, so we talked a lot, obviously, about Rocky Mountain College and their women's basketball, what's been going on last 25 days, last month. But there was another incident 15 years ago, and joining us now on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline to chat about it is one of those that was affected. Her name is Lori Jo Neubauer. It's now Lori Jo Berg. But she joins us now here on the Jason Walker Show. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Lori Jo, to talk to us about this. Obviously, there's been a little bit of resolution over the last 24 hours with the players being reinstated, which never should have gotten this far in the first place. But this brought back some memories for you and your family. I've been talking to your dad as well, but take me through what happened back in 2006 with your sister Stephanie, and then also a team captain as well, Alyssa Root.
Yeah, it was a normal spring day, and we were shooting around in the gym after the season had ended. I think it had been ended a couple of weeks. And Coach Brian Henderson was the coach at the time, and he asked to see my sister upstairs in a meeting, and she went up there like usual, and he told her that she wasn't welcome back and that she would not have a scholarship for next year. There was no explanation. My shock, and I don't even think she asked why. She just kind of walked out, and then 20 minutes later, we found something happened to the other girl, and they were both team captains, both started all year, played more minutes than anybody on the team. You know, there weren't any events leading up to this. It was completely blindsided. And so that was the first meeting. And then my sister gained her wits about her and called another meeting with the coach. And I think the AD was in there and just asked, like, what's going on? You know, why is this happening? And his answer was, I'll tell you in 10 years. And that was her explanation. And he also said, if I would have known it was going to cause this much, ruckus, I would never have done it. And that's literally the only explanation we ever got for what happened.
And then you quit, right, to support your sister, obviously.
Yeah, my scholarship wasn't pulled, but I didn't want to represent Rocky anymore. So I left the team as well. Yep.
And Brian Henderson was the coach, and he said, I'll tell you in 10 years, it's been 15 and still no answer?
No, still no answer.
It's amazing,
no.
The similarities. And there's one guy that's still there, that's Brad Nason, who's the vice president or director of dean of student affairs down there in Billings right now too. But he was there back then too. So there's some connection. And still no explanation. That's the thing that it just blows my mind. And nothing had gone on, right? I mean, Stephanie and Alyssa hadn't. I mean, there was no reason for this, correct?
No, there was no incident that happened before. There, like, nothing. I mean, it was literally completely out of the blue. And then, this was before the days of social media, or at least what it is now.
Right.
And so this was very hush-hush under the rug. And my parents finally, all we could do actually was just write letters to the editor, write letters to the administration, which didn't go very far. But my parents ended up finally getting a meeting with the president. He offered my sister and the other team captain a full-ride academic scholarship for the next year, but only if they'd stop writing letters to the editor and just forget about it and drop it. And that's how it ended.
That's just amazing. And this was in 2006, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the end of the season, you guys are just shooting some hoops, and boom, two members kicked off the team for no reason, and one quits to support her sister. And you guys had played basketball, Lori and Steph. You guys had played basketball forever together, growing up, and this was something you guys had dreamed about, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, we played together in high school. I was only 1 year older than her. You know, and then I went on to MSU and played there for a couple years and wasn't wanting to be there anymore, so transferred to play with my sister specifically. And yeah, it was something that we had always wanted to do. And, you know, basketball was our life. Literally our life growing up in small town Montana. That's what we did. That was our ticket out. And to have it just taken away without, you know, any explanation at all, it was hard. You know, we had to uproot our lives and find something else to do. And luckily my sister got another full ride and went on to Eastern Oregon and was the team captain there. I mean, it's just kind of interesting that it's not like she did anything crazy that nobody wanted her. I mean, she instantly got another scholarship and team voted her team captain, and she had a great year there. And I called it done. And the other girl went on to play at University of Mary too and got a scholarship there. So
awesome.
Yeah.
But you were older, so it was this your senior year or were you a junior?
No, it was my junior year. I could have won back and
Okay.
played
You had one
again.
more.
Yeah.
You played at Montana State, and your coach at that time wasn't exactly that was not a good situation there. Was it Robin Patero, right?
Yep, it was.
Okay. I'm a Bobcat, so I understand. I know all about those years. They weren't exactly some of the best there. There was problems with administration and coaching and kids and stuff too.
Yeah.
Lori Jo, and it wasn't anybody else's kids. Lori Jo Neubauer joining us. Lori Jo Berg now. You mentioned the letter writing and the campaign, and that seemed to be, you know, social media seemed to help this day. In this day and age with these 6 girls for Rocky on this current team, to help get back on this team. And the letter writing campaign back then, you know, how many letters were written, do you think?
You know, I honestly don't know. I'd say probably 8 to 10 at the most, you know, and I don't even know if they were read. I mean, who knows even what happened to those? That's just the nature of, you know, writing a letter. I mean, who knows what happened to those letters?
Who was the athletics director at Rocky then?
TC, I think his last name was Corey. I know his name was TC. I don't. Yeah.
It's just I mean, you guys reached out to me and wanted to tell the story that happened 15 years ago because there was so many similarities. Did you reach out to any of the current Rocky girls that were kicked off the team and then reinstated yesterday?
No, I haven't. I recognize a few of them, like the Thatcher girl I watched play a lot against my cousins in high school. So, you know, I recognize a couple of them. The other Detman girl is up where we're from, up north. But no, I haven't talked to any of them.
What would your advice have been in the last couple weeks, and then what's your advice moving forward?
Well, I think, you know, before they knew the results, I mean, it's just stick with what you believe in. You just have to. I mean, you can't do something you don't believe in. You know, I think they did the right thing. You know, and now, I mean, they've got a tough decision to make. I was in the same boat, but I just asked myself, well, can I really play here and, you know, represent this college well? And I couldn't. I didn't want to. So that was kind of a decision maker for me. I guess they have to, you know, answer that same question for themselves. Because you've obviously, if you're playing college basketball, you put a lot of time and effort and work into it. It's not easy to just let it go, you know. So
when you talk to some of your former teammates that when this happened, or have you talked to anybody that was on the basketball team in 2006 besides your sister and the other girl, Alyssa? Have you talked to anybody since then?
Yeah, we keep in touch a little bit with one of the girls, Elisa Brown. She was from Fairfield. We played against her in high school. And, yeah, I mean, it was just such a different time then. It was just like that's the way it was. And we didn't even, you know, it was final answer and move on. And that's kind of what we had to do. I almost have a hard time recollecting everything that happened, but yeah, I mean, nobody knew. There was never any team meeting. Like, that's literally the way it ended. It's just them being offered an academic scholarship, and we never talked to the coach again. And that was it.
Do we know where he is now?
I have no idea.
I know his daughter was a pretty good athlete and ended up, she's a coach over in Missoula now with the University of Montana. She was pretty good. She had nothing to do with this, obviously, but was there contention, Lori Jo, with part of the team? Because, when I talked to Izzy Spruitt from this year's team, she mentioned that there's no trust right now with this year's Rocky team, with players to players, coaches to players, and vice versa. How was there contention between some of your teammates back then?
Well, I know personally I was frustrated with the coach. I came from Robin Patera, where she got fired for working us too hard. And then I go to Rocky, and we don't even run in practice, and we're all out of shape, and we can't keep up. And so I thought it was too relaxed. I definitely had some major frustrations with the coaching staff. It did just seem kind of like a joke, honestly. As far as the team goes, I mean, I think it was normal what was going on. I mean, there was little rifts here and there, but there was never any, like, nobody's talking to each other. I mean, I think when you got a bunch of girls trying to compete for 5 spots or whatever, you're going to have, I think it's almost a healthy conflict,
Sure.
But there was never anything crazy. I would say a lack of trust for sure. I don't think we trusted the coaching staff at all. I mean, we had a ton of talent, and we had a horrible season. I mean, just couldn't win,
There's a lot of similarities.
So,
they couldn't win this year too.
Mm-hmm.
Did Lori Jo, did any of the other teammates, aside from the one you mentioned, but did any of them reach out to you or your sister just to say, hey, you guys are doing the right thing, or this is crap, or was it you're on your own?
A couple of them did, yeah. But I think for the most part, it was, I think we came from a different world than a lot of those people. I mean, we come from intensity, and yelling is normal, and you get after it, and you're aggressive, and, that's just what we came from. And I don't know that a lot of those girls did. And so I'm sure they saw us as intense, and maybe some of them were happy to see us. I really have no idea. But it just wasn't a close-knit team to begin with. Whether this would have happened or not, it wasn't, it just wasn't a close-knit team from the start.
Gotcha. Lori Jo Berg joining us, also known as Lori Jo Neubauer, here on the Jason Walker Show. You guys won state tournament up at Wolf Point, which is just one title, or how many did you guys end up with, you and your sister?
A third, a second, and a first, yeah.
So that right off the top of your head. That was immediate. Third, second, and first. That's pretty good. Jason Walker Show here on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline, talking to Lori Jo Berg, a former Rocky women's basketball player. Just a couple final ones for you, but obviously this hasn't affected your life too much. Your sister's moved on, you've moved on, and you guys are each successful in what you're doing outside of basketball, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've obviously moved on, and life is what it is, and it's just a lesson that things don't always go your way, Yeah, we're doing well.
And you're in, where do you guys live?
I'm in Bozeman, yep,
Okay.
and Stephanie's in Great Falls.
Oh, okay. I'll be in Great Falls next week.
Cool.
I should look her up and have her not come on the show because she doesn't want to. But I'm glad you were able to reach out and talk about this, because it's absolutely nuts. And like I said, the similarities between 2006 and this year are absolutely astounding. And I'm glad you reached out, and I appreciate that. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because it's a story I didn't even know about. And apparently not a lot of people do know about what happened back in 06.
Mhm.
Interesting. It's almost like a private institution feels like it doesn't have to answer to anybody.
Kind of definitely seems that way.
And in 15 years apart, it's the same thing all over again. What's that saying? If you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
The difference, though, Lori Jo, between then and now is these girls that sat out and got reinstated yesterday were in support of their coach. Had the same thing happened where your coach back then had been placed on administrative leave, what would you have done?
I would have honestly been okay with that. I mean, I didn't believe in what he was doing, and so I think I would have just kept on playing. But I think if I had a coach that I believed in and thought that he was being wronged, I absolutely would have sat out, hands down.
Makes sense. Man, I appreciate the time. I wish you and your family the best. I know you got a sick little one who's battling. How old is this little one?
7 months.
Holy cow! Like real fresh.
Yeah.
like we're still talking fresh off the farm here. Like, yeah. Any others or just this one?
I got 2 others. Yeah,
okay.
2 older girls.
Okay. And this is a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, he's going to grow up protected by 2 older sisters.
Right.
At least you hope, right?
Yeah.
Or he's going to be kicking some butt on some dudes that he's going to be sticking up for his older sisters. There's no question.
Yeah, probably.
Well, take care of him. I know having sick little ones is never fun. And whether it's just a cold or earache or whatever, you wish the pain would come to you instead of them.
For sure.
Well, Lori Jo Berg / Neubauer, I appreciate it. Tell your sister hi, and man, I wish you guys the best, and tell your dad hi too. He's a good dude to talk with.
All right, I will. Thank you so much.
Lori Jo Berg, Neubauer joining us. Jason Walker Show, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. So little comparison between 06 and 2021 at Rocky Mountain College. And again, it's interesting, the similarities. And there's a dude that was involved in both. So, and then the one thing that stuck out too is she said, Brian Henderson, the coach, said that had I known what the fallout was going to be, I wouldn't have kicked Steph off the team. Well, what'd you think was going to happen when you get rid of 2 captains, dude? Oh. All right. Let's see here. Good show this week. Screw on this day in history, shall we? It is February the 26th. It is Skip the Straw Day. It is National Pistachio Day, or Pistachio. And it is also, what day is it? Hold on. Tell a Fairy Tale Day. Tell a Fairy Tale Day. Nothing bad happens at Rocky Mountain College. Just kidding. All right. 1935 on this day, the Yankees released Babe Ruth. He signed with the Boston Braves. 1973 Triple Crown horse winner Secretariat was bought for a record $5.7 million. 1989, the worst day in Dallas Cowboy franchise history. The Cowboys fired Tom Landry, Jerry Jones, after a 29-year career. He'd been the only coach in Cowboys history. They got rid of the entire front office. Gil Brandt, Tex Schramm. It was a complete house cleaning, and it was the worst day in Dallas Cowboy history. Tom Landry fired 1989. Happy birthday is today. Levi Strauss, 1829, was born, the clothing designer. The first to manufacture blue jeans. It is Buffalo Bill Cody's birthday. He was born in Davenport, Iowa. I think Davenport's the same place John Wayne was born. 1846 was Buffalo Bill's birthday, by the way. Let's see. 1887, Grover Cleveland Alexander, the baseball pitcher, was born. 1928, Fats Domino was born. Blueberry Hill, great song. Born in Nolens in 1928. Johnny Cash was born on this date in 1932. So there you go. Good stuff.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
John Wayne was born in Winterset, Iowa, not Davenport. Winterset. May 26th is John Wayne's birthday. Anyway, I knew it was in Iowa. So there, I get credit for that, right? Hey, we had a great week of shows, and now literally nobody's watching on the Facebook. Okay. Great week of shows, though. Had a fun time, and appreciate all the kind words. Look, we just wanted to give some girls a voice, and I believe we did. And we're glad that Coach Wes Keller is back running his basketball team at Rocky Mountain College. We are glad that the girls were reinstated. Where it goes from here, we'll keep you updated. Started the week with Brent Vegan, new MSU coach. That was fun. We talked to Megan Harrington about the documentary, The House That Rob Built, which is now available to the public at thehousethatrobbuilt.com. Izzy Spruitt, the lone senior on Rocky's team, joined us on Tuesday as well. We talked to Katie Garson-Forba and Kyle Sampson. Speaking of which, the fund now the GoFundMe for Isaiah Alec is now over $30,000, which is fantastic. And Isaiah, we wish you the best. You can check it out, GoFundMe.com or look for Isaiah Alec beating cancer, and donate if you can, or any way you can. So help out. There you go. We also, Mark Durham, former athletics director and coach at Western, Hall of Famer, Lori Jo Neubauer, whom you just heard from today, and Steve Keller, the Providence coach. By the way, happy birthday to Coach Keller tomorrow. They'll be playing on his birthday in the semifinals, the University of Providence. So there you go. Let's see. Was there anything else? Yes. No, we'll do it next week, I think. Yeah, we'll do that next week. It'll be fun. It's been a fun week, like I said. Hope you enjoyed it. If you missed anything from the week, JasonWalkerShow.com. You can always tweet us at JWalkerSports. You can email us, Jason at JasonWalkerShow.com anytime as well. We'll do it again Monday. Get you set for Frontier Championships. Also, State A, boys and girls, next week. We'll be there in Great Falls broadcasting. Have a great weekend. It is daddy-daughter weekend. The wife's out of town. Me and the little one get to hang out. Disney movies, blanket forts, picnics. We're going to do all sorts of fun stuff. Love it. Can't wait. We'll see you back here on Monday.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.